Batshit Crazy Pants Super Show, helping you navigate this batshit crazy pants world. And now, your host, Matt Stevens. Hello, and welcome to the Batshit Crazy Pants Super Show. I'm, of course, your host, Matt Stevens. And you can always follow me on the Twitter at TheMattShow365. You can do the same on Facebook at TheMattShow365. It's a lot of fun, We got a lot to get to today. We got a lot of good things going on. We are going to be visited by Donnie, the angry New Yorker. He's got a little message. He tweeted me today, or texted me, sorry, and said that he wants to tell everybody he has a couple words of wisdom tomorrow for the people who are going to venture out tomorrow and drink to a ridiculous amount for St. Patrick's Day. So he's going to come by. We got a little bit on surveillance, which is always a good time. Who doesn't like talk about that? A little bit about the budget, the Trump budget that came out today. Always a good time as well. I mean, who doesn't love when they literally just show you that they don't give a shit about you? Oh, yeah, as always.
Earmuffs.
Indeed. Earmuffs. And
Hail Trump!
Oh, one more time. What? With feeling. With feeling.
Hail Trump!
Indeed. Hail Trump. And, of course, the batshit crazy pants thing of the day, which is, I mean, you know, you think you're going to run out one day, right? You think you're going to run out of stuff one day, and you realize, no, you're never, ever going to run out of crazy things that people say. Where we are going to start today, though, is simple. Rachel Maddow the other night did a little show on she had received the front two pages of Trump's 2005 tax return. And she did a whole hour on it. Now, it was a little excessive. Sure, you didn't need the whole hour. Although I did like the guy she had on, the little tax dude, who looks exactly like what you would think he would look like when you hear his name. And she got destroyed for it, right? Like, well, let's be fair. She got destroyed. You all knew that Republicans and the radical right was going to destroy her, right? Because there was no, it's illegal. She should be put in prison. Yibbidi-ba-doos, gibbidi-booch. No, it's not illegal. We know it's not illegal. She didn't ask for them. Well, I mean, I guess she did in saying that he should release them, but she didn't specifically say to some guy on the street, go get me Trump's tax returns, and that person did it, okay? If it was sent to them anonymously, as it says that it was, then it's not illegal. We're going to get to those idiots in a second, because the problem we have here is that the people on the left who are killing her, like Stephen Colbert did a thing, a bunch of other people are killing her, making fun of her, more just making fun of it as reporting, right? Because, you know, I forget what somebody was like, oh, Watergate was, yeah, that's right. I was listening to Sports Talk Radio yesterday, which I do sometimes to help me sort of relax. And I know it sounds weird, and Mike Francesa was talking, and I had to turn it off because he was talking about how, you know, the great reporters of the time, they're not that anymore, blah, 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 Watergate and this and that. This is really good reporting because it's putting truth to fact, right? So we don't need the rest. Yes, would it be nice to see where he's getting all of his money from? And, of course, you know, the rich people are like, oh, you don't even know where he's getting his money from, blah, blah, blah. Here's what I wanted to know. Because one of Trump's biggest things that he talks about is the alternative minimum tax being eliminated. It's one of the big things he talks about. It's been around since I believe it was 1969. I might be wrong on the year. I believe it was 1969, and it was set up so that rich people couldn't write off so many different things where they would pay literally no tax. It's some form of way of calculating that even if they write off a certain amount, they have to pay this amount no matter what, right? Great. So we find out in this 2005 tax return, you see the front page, which is the front page. You know what it looks like. How much you make, what you write off. It's just all the block numbers. There's no deduction listings. There's none of that stuff, which for a Trump tax return has got to be hundreds of pages. Has to be. because most of his stuff is through his business, but it's also private land dealings and stuff like that. It's got to be hundreds of pages, maybe even thousands. I'm no tax lawyer. Here's all I wanted to know, and this is what I got. Trump reported that he made $153 million in income. Now, $103 million was in losses. Now, we know from his state taxes that those losses could have been losses from previous years, that he's allowed to roll over a certain amount each year to sort of spread the loss out. And sort of, so he may have had a huge loss one year, and in order to help ease that loss over the next so many years, the IRS will allow him to deduct some of that, even if he didn't have losses on the year that he's filing. So those losses might not be from 2005. They just might not be from then. So he has to put them on there, okay? And he paid, it was about 25% in tax. He paid about $36 million in tax. If the alternative minimum tax didn't exist, he would have paid about $5.3 million in taxes. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know that should never be gotten rid of. As long as we have income tax in this country, it should never be gotten rid of. And I swear to you, if I ever start making $1 million, I will be happy to pay. If you want to give me $153 million and I got to give you 36 of it, I think I'll be just fine with that. But I'm not a money-grubbing fuck. I'm not somebody who's so greedy and so defined by my wealth, because I don't have any, but regardless, defined by money, that I am willing to literally steal money. And by the way, I looked it up. It was 70% when Reagan took office. This would be almost literally none. He would have paid about 3.5%. Now, I'm going to give you a little look into my life, shall we? See, one of my jobs, because I do multiple jobs, I do some voiceover work as well, but one of my jobs is waiting tables. Last year, in a full year of work, this is 12 months, okay, I made $45,000, okay? $45,000. And my taxes for that came out to about about $12,000. Now, you're going to say, Matt, that's not a lot of money. It's about 29%. I paid more of a percentage than Donald Trump did. See, the problem is we look at the number, right? We look at the number. Oh, my God, he paid $36 million in taxes. Oh, Lord. But don't you think that somebody who has $153 million, even if you subtract the 36, still is fine? They're okay, right? I mean, they're fine, right? I mean, really? Really? Is that like, are you burdened? Are you so burdened that $36 million is going to preclude you from doing anything when you have 150 or whatever it would be afterwards? No, but don't you think I could use more of that $12,000? Say maybe I only paid about $9,000. That $3,000 extra dollars is huge. And you're talking about me putting that back out into the world. You're talking me buying food with that. Maybe buying clothes with that. Maybe buying something else with that. Stuff that I need. Not want. This isn't want. This is need. But no, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the alternative minimum tax. But that's what they don't want you to know. That's what they don't want you to know. And I'm not some conspiracy theorist. They are hoping two things happen here. They're hoping that all the idiot Republicans, and I'll say it again, and I don't care. And I know, I get it.
Disappointed!
I get it. But I don't care. I'm tired. They're idiots. They're morons. Because every single time they vote against their own interest based on some religious bullshit that makes them do stupid things. So you can be mad at me for saying that, but I don't care because I'm tired of it.
Good day, sir.
I'm tired of it. They're idiots. And they all think, and this is what the Republicans hope, this is what the Republicans hope they do, and this is what they do, so they know they're going to do it anyway. All these Republicans, these poor-ass Republicans who have nothing, who might be on food stamps or whatever, all they're thinking is, well, you know, one day when me and Betty June win the lottery, oh, we're going to be right rich, and we don't want to pay taxes then neither. Do you see? It's the dream of being a millionaire, the hope of being a millionaire that allows Republicans to pass these ludicrous tax laws that only help them and their friends, and not you, and not you, and not you. That's what they do. So they're hoping for stupidity, which they've already gotten because they're uneducated. And they're hoping that their constituents don't realize that they will never be millionaires. And that's not fair. Some of them will eventually become millionaires. And I have no problem with that. But most of them won't. In fact, something like 92 or 93% of them won't. So you can be all mad and you can be all stupid and you can say stupid things about Maddow's reporting, but that reporting is important. It's important because without the alternative minimum tax, think about how much less tax money we're bringing in each year, which is exactly what they want anyway. So it serves two masters. And it shows you how much money you're talking about. You're talking about 30, so 3 point, you would have paid 5.3, I think it was 36. You start talking about like $31 million, and that's just from one guy. You take that to Warren Buffett and Steve Jobs. Not Steve Jobs, he's dead. Just pick another rich guy. There's so many of them that none of them are coming to my head right now. Oh, baby.
Thanks, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Forever and ever, Neil deGrasse, thank you. And so to all the people out there who are making fun of this report, yes, was it a little sort of pompousy and a little jackassery? Maybe. But it's don't make fun of the reporting. The reporting is good. The extraneous nonsense, not so much. But the reporting is good. And it look, we don't get there's no more long form reporting. We get stories in drips and drabs now with a 24-hour news cycle. Whenever they have news, they're going to report it. They're not going to hold on to it and then have some just sort of big shocking thing that drops on you all of a sudden. It's not going to happen. This is the way news is now. And if you don't like it, get off the boat. Just get off the boat. Because it's no more Watergate. One day you're just going to find out that the president was spying on Democrats. Oh, my God. It's never going to happen. There would be, we have heard rumors that the president might have been spying on Democrats during the campaign. And then a week later it'd be, we now have confirmation from an inside source who leaked documents that said this might have happened. And then so on and so on and so on. So relax and get off your high horse, to be honest with you, because you didn't get the story. You're just, is that what it is? You're just sad? Oh, is that what it is? You're just sad you didn't get the story. It kind of sounded like Carol Channing. I apologize for that. So, look, I thought it was what I wanted to see. Do I want to see more? Do I want to see things to Russia and all that stuff? Yes. All the stuff she pointed out in her first part. Yes. And here's the thing, folks, and all the people who killed her for doing that. She got 4 million viewers, which is probably a couple. I don't know how many viewers she gets on a regular night, but it's probably at least 1 million more people. So why not lay it out for them? You know, every week when you watch a TV show and they're like, previously on. Well, that's what her previously on was. It just took 15 minutes because it's a lot of crap. So get over yourselves. And maybe if you guys did some good reporting, we wouldn't have all this crap to deal with every day. Surveillance. That's right, kids. We're back on surveillance, right? So today, the Senate Intelligence Committee came out and said, sorry, and this isn't Democrats, this is one of each. So this is the committee chairman, Richard Burr of North Carolina, he's a Republican, and Mark Warner, a Democrat from Virginia, and they said in a joint statement that the president was wrong. I could read you the statement, but it's silly. They're just saying the president's wrong, okay? So we go through all of this crazy nonsense, right? So the president comes out and tweets, he's wiretapping me. And that's where we start, right? Because the wiretap claim is what started this whole thing. Now, our president is a Twitter. He's a what would that be? Like a Twitter maniac? I don't know. Like a Twitter exic? I don't know. But he's got a problem. And I don't think there's support groups for it yet, or there might be. Is there like a if anybody knows of one, like a social media anonymous? I don't know if there is such a thing yet. I'm sure there might be. So if anybody knows of one, please send our president there because he really needs to start doing this. So he does the whole thing, I've been wiretapped, blah blah blah. So of course we start to look at these things, right? Because that's a huge claim to say that the former president, or not the former president, the current sitting president, wiretapped somebody who was running for the Republican president quit because of that. So yesterday, we have the House Intelligence Committee come out first. And we had Devin Nunes, Republican of California, and Adam Schiff, also of Democrat of California. This is the House. And this is what they had to say.
I don't think there was an actual tap of Trump Tower.
I want to join in saying that to date I've seen no evidence that supports the claim that President Trump made that his predecessor had wiretapped he and his associates at Trump Tower. It deeply concerns me that the president would make such an accusation without basis.
The challenge here is that President Obama wouldn't physically go over and wiretap Trump Tower. So now you have to decide, as I mentioned to you last week, are you going to take the tweets literally? And if you are, then clearly the president was wrong. But if you're not going to take the tweets literally, and if there's a concern that the president has about other people, other surveillance activities, looking at him or his associates, either appropriately or inappropriately, we want to find that out.
I do think it's incumbent, if we get to March 20th and we have the testimony, I think we all expect from the director that there was no substance to the accusation that Barack Obama illegally wiretapped Trump Tower, that the president explain himself. I think there are, from a national security perspective, great concerns if the president is willing to state things like that without any basis, because the country needs to be able to rely on him, particularly if we have a crisis that is an external crisis, as every president does within their term of office.
And that's really so there's a lot to get to in there, right? Because what they're talking about are we taking it at its word, which on Twitter you sort of almost have to, because it's hard to convey tone in Twitter unless you sort of hashtag it, so to speak. And if you are, then no, because it's silly to think that President Obama put on overalls and a cap and was like, hey, I'm here to fix the radiator, and then wiretap Trump Tower. But if you're more than that, this has been almost 2 weeks since he said this, and we've had nothing. Because they don't have anything, and they know that, right? I mean, they know that. And so Sean Spicer's been answering questions about this for days now, and he comes out today and he says this.
What the president had the quote wiretapping in quotes. He was referring to broad surveillance, and now you're basically going back. We talked about this several days ago. The bottom line is that the investigation by the House and the Senate has not been provided all of the information.
Why not? Why not? It has been almost 2 weeks. Apparently, the president had this information 2 weeks ago. Where's the information now? If the president had the information enough to tweet this out, then why didn't they immediately send it to I mean, let's be fair, guys. If he actually had proof, that Obama had wiretapped his building during the election, don't you think he would freaking reveal it? Sean Spicer, right there. First of all, changing the whole thing, right? Well, on wiretapping, we really mean broad surveillance. That's what we mean, broad surveillance. Not actual wiretapping. That would be ludicrous. So they changed the narrative. So now it's broad surveillance. Broad surveillance. Well, broad surveillance is anything. I mean, it's anything. Did people take pictures in front of Trump Tower? Yes, broad surveillance. How do you know they weren't working for Obama? When protesters were walking by, they were taking pictures. They're Democrats. They were probably working for Obama. Broad surveillance. And he's off the hook. Again, 3 million voters who didn't vote, who voted illegally, off the hook. Broad wiretapping, off the hook. Because we came back later and realized, oh, it's quotes. Fantastic. Off the hook. Now, the 20th, they're having a hearing. It'll be nonsense. Comey will come out and he'll say, oh, there was really nothing to talk about there. You know, it's stupid. It was ridiculous. There was no broad surveillance. It's silly. Because here's the other problem. If they do admit it, well, not the president, but if the FBI or the CIA admits it, then they have to admit that they were, in fact, surveilling. I mean, do you see? It's so ludicrous because you're never going to know the real answer, but we already know the real answer. See, that's the best part about this whole thing is we've wasted millions of dollars. And so far, the president has wasted millions of dollars on lies. So all this money we're going to waste, we're going to get to the budget in a minute, all the money we're wasting could have been spent on stuff like, healthcare. But instead, we spend it on investigating lies that we know aren't true before they're true. But then it starts to get interesting, right? Because the Republicans are starting to get annoyed, right? They're starting to get pissed because Trump doesn't talk to the press ever. And some of his people, I mean, Spicer goes out and gets beat up by the press every day. That's a daily occurrence. And he fights back and he tries and he it's a special power that press secretaries have, that their ability to sort of not answer any question while looking like they're answering all the questions and then being pissed when the reporters keep asking them to answer the question that they didn't answer because the reporter's not an idiot, and is amazing. It's amazing. It's a talent that I don't have. My bullshit meter only runs so high. So what happens now is that Republicans are starting to get annoyed because they're tired of answering for things that they know are just flat out lies. Look, Republicans know better than anybody else that voter fraud doesn't happen, and that the only reason they've passed voter ID laws is because, well, they don't want certain people voting. You know what I mean? Black people! That's right. They don't want black people voting, so they pass voter ID laws. They use it under the guise that voter fraud actually exists, but they know that voter fraud exists, and if it does exist, it definitely doesn't exist on the scale of 3 million voters. I mean, it's amazing. So they're starting to get pissed. And Lindsey Graham is pissed. Lindsey Graham doesn't want to deal with it anymore. He's tired. He's tired.
Well, Congress is going to flex its muscle here, and you see that all over the place. Senator Grassley's been a great ally with Senator Feinstein, the chairman and ranking member of Judiciary. We'll issue a subpoena to get the information. We'll hold up the Deputy Attorney General's nomination until Congress is provided with information to finally clear the air as to whether or not there was ever a warrant issued against the Trump campaign.
Oh, no. Oh, God, are you going to hold up some guy that nobody cares about? Oh, God, no, not that. Oh, God, Lindsey, please don't threaten us with Congress. Oh, Jesus. I mean, and that's the thing, right? They think they're being badasses. He's using the full power of the Senate to come down on you and get you, Donald Trump. You're going to tell us the truth, even though we all know the truth. Although, coincidentally, Lindsey Graham to me has always reminded me of Beverly Leslie. If you've never watched Will and Grace, you should watch Will and Grace and specifically watch Beverly Leslie because he's this little short, hysterical Southern dude. And I always felt like Lindsey Graham reminded me of him. This is Beverly Leslie.
Your friend publicly insinuated that I was a homosexual.
And this is Lindsey Graham.
Well, Congress is going to flex its muscle here, and you see that all over the place.
Publicly
Senator
insinuated
Grassley's been a
that
great
I
ally
was a
with Senator
homosexual.
Feinstein, the chairman.
So there you go. Have a little fun with that. But what it comes down to is this, is that we all know that Trump did that to get us to talk about it. But we have to talk about it. And that's the thing that kills me, too, when people say, oh, well, it's just a distraction. It's only a distraction if you don't pay attention to anything else. I'm not an idiot. I can understand that 50 things are happening at the same time in the world. So I can look into this and look into other things as well. Like we're going to talk about the budget. We just talked about the taxes. We're going to talk about other things. Like we do every day. We talk about other things. So it's not a distraction. But because as Mr. Schiff said, and that was him at the end, this is the president of the United States. Now, look, we all understand that our representatives lie to us, right? We get it. And most of them are sort of half lies, right? They're sort of wrapping words into beautiful bows and whatnot, and they end up being sort of half lies. And that's stuff that's usually, well, it's become more and more. It used to be where they would sort of lie to us maybe to protect us, and now it's just they're lying to us so they could, change things like the alternative minimum tax, etc. But when your president just literally lies about something so like he accused another president of spying on him while he was sitting in the presidency, basically saying that Barack Obama used his power in office to surveil Donald Trump. We haven't been given a reason why. We assume it was for the election. We assume it's to watch Trump. Here's what I assume. That at any point, at any time, if you're talking to a lot of foreign people, the government knows what you're talking about. And they're not surveilling you. We talked about this the other day. They're not surveilling you. They're surveilling them. And Donald Trump has done business with some really, really fucked up people. Really fucked up people. And so they probably listened to a couple conversations. But they weren't listening on Donald Trump's end. They were listening on Barack Obama's end, on the end of the guy who he was talking to. And let me tell you this. When Barack Obama starts to talk to people overseas and Michelle Obama overseas while he's not the president, guess what's going to happen? They're going to listen to those phone calls too, just from the other side. So again, get off your high horse. But the biggest problem we have right now is we have a president who lies without any sort of repercussions whatsoever. And his lies cost us money. They cost us time. And they're not just little lies like, oh, you can keep your doctor, or I never had sex with that woman, which are lies. And the doctor one is a decent-sized lie. It's a pretty big lie. And it affected some people. But when you're talking about national security, the thing that you trumpet, and you're lying about that, when you lie about national security, when you lie about being spied upon, when you're lying about rampant voter fraud that we know doesn't exist, I don't know how I can take anything you say seriously. And so when you come to me in 6 months wanting to go to war with Iran or Palestine or whomever, the local guy that is brown that you don't like, I'm not going to believe your reason. Now, I wouldn't believe it anyway, but I'm especially now not going to believe your reason. You've basically gone back on almost every promise you've ever made, including you've now lied so many times, just flat out right, about horrible things that nobody can ever believe what you say. And he's right. He's right. You can't do that. Not when you're talking about national security. And there you go. He lied. Deal with it. Budgets. Budgets are so fun. So Trump, the Trump White House, as it were, which is still like, it's like verbal cauliflower saying it. That's what it's like. It's like verbal cauliflower. Brutal. So Trump released an outline, I guess is the best way to describe it, for his budget. And so when these things come out, I one of the first places I like to go to when these things come out is 538. If you don't know what 538 is, go check it out. It's fun. It's if you like numbers like I do. I don't necessarily understand all of them, and I try to understand them as best I can, and I try to convey them to you the best I can. But they are one of, if not the best, and you should just know that. So what they did was, and they do it so well. So they took the just the outline. They just went based on the outline, right? And this is the proposed changes in discretionary funding in the fiscal year 2018 over the previous fiscal year. So this year, 2017. The Environmental Protection Agency will be negative 31.4%. The State Department will be negative. These are all negative, by the way. I'll let you know when I get to the positive. The other negative, 28.7%. State Department. Labor Department, negative 20.7%. Agricultural, negative 20.7%. Army Corps of Engineers, negative 16.3%. Health and Human Services, negative 16.2%. Commerce Department, negative 15.7%. Education Department, negative 13.5%. Housing and Urban Development, negative 13.2%. Transportation, negative 12.7%. Department of the Interior, negative 11.7%. Energy, negative 5.6%. Small Business, negative 5%. Treasury Department, negative 4%. Justice Department, negative 3%. NASA, negative 0.8%. Now, let's go to the other side, shall we? I think you know where we're going on this one, don't you? I think you got it figured out. So, Security Administration, plus 0.2%. Fuck you. You fucking fuck. You sucker of son of a bitch and shit fucker. Just don't do anything. 0.2. 0.2. Come on, guys. Really?
Earmuffs.
Sorry. Forgot to play that before. Veterans Affairs, plus 5.9. Homeland Security, plus 6.8. And the Department of Defense comes in at the big winner with plus 10.0. Woohoo! I needed a real cry. I wasn't quite getting the vibe out of myself. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so here's the problem, guys. Everybody who voted for Trump, you should listen because this is important. He has boned you on this. He has boned you unless you are a member of the military-industrial complex. I'm not even going to say if you're a veteran because I don't think 5.9 is enough. I mean, you got some, so there you go. Good. You deserve it. But do you see who's winning here? The only people that win with this budget, are the military-industrial complex and other countries. Now, they don't win because we're cutting all our foreign aid and aid to the UN, but they're winning in that, hey, you're going to have some ISIS problems in your country soon when our Department of Defense is so big that we have to invoke a draft just to fill all the spots. Small business owners, how do you feel about the Small Business Administration being cut negative 5%? The Department of the Interior, Who helps fix roads, bridges, all that sort of stuff? Who's in charge of parks, all that sort of stuff? Gone. Education, gone. The Army Corps of Engineers. You know, it's amazing that you can make that cut like 10 years after Katrina. The Army Corps of Engineers serves a purpose, and it's a pretty big purpose. We have a lot of structure in this country, a lot of stuff that they help build. Some of it good, some of it bad. Of course, the EPA's gone. Take a couple pictures of go look at a couple pictures of the L.A. or New York in the 70s. Tell me the EPA doesn't do a good job. State Department, gone. Who needs diplomacy? We don't need diplomacy because here's our diplomacy. If you don't agree with us, if you're not with us, you're against us, okay? If you don't think the same way we do, well, then screw you. You're gone, and so am I. But it gets even better because Mickey Mulvaney, Mr. Chooch, Mr. Chinchbug, came on and was at the press briefing today, and he answered some questions. This is Mr. Mick on some of the things that will be cut, like Meals on Wheels, because Meals on Wheels is part of a program of the Community Development Block Grant Program, which is funded by the federal government and allotted to states to fund programs like Meals on Wheels. This is what the Mixter had to say about that one.
Right. And as you know, I think you know, that Meals on Wheels is not a federal program. It's part of that community, that CDBGs, the block grants that we give to the states. And many states make the decision to use that money on Meals on Wheels. Here's what I can tell you about CDBGs, because that's what we fund, right? Is that we spent $150 billion on those programs since the 1970s. The CDBGs have been identified as programs since, I believe, the second Bush administration, as ones that were just not showing any results. That we can't do that anymore. We can't spend money on programs just because they sound good and great. Meals on Wheels sounds great. Again, that's a state decision to fund that particular portion to it, to take the federal money and give it to the states and say, look, we want to give you money for programs that don't work. I can't defend that anymore. We cannot defend that anymore. We're $20 trillion in debt. We're going to spend money. We're going to spend a lot of money, but we're not going to spend it on programs that cannot show that they actually deliver the promises that we've made to people.
Yes. And we can't prove that we fed all these hungry, old, and disabled people who can't leave their house. We can't prove it. It doesn't bring any money in. Where's the kickback? What's in it for us? See, the problem Republicans have is what they don't understand about government is that the idea of government is to provide services. It's to use the money that we pay taxes to provide services. And those services can include anything from roads and bridges to things like Meals on Wheels or Planned Parenthood or a number of other things that exist in your life today. The mail. It's to provide services. And Meals on Wheels is an important service. Everybody knows Meals on Wheels, right? Everybody knows. But there's no result. See, because when you're running the country like a corporation, and when people are the product and there's no actual product, it's very heartless to do things like this. But they don't care because why don't you have money to afford food? Why don't you have money? Why are you a shut-in? Why are you sick? Why are you old? You don't have people that can take care of you? Well, we're going to stop because this program doesn't do anything for us. But he's not done. He's not done, right? Because we need more proof. More proof that after-school programs for hungry kids don't work.
Let's talk about after-school programs generally. They're supposed to be educational programs, right? And that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to help kids who don't get fed at home get fed so they do better in school. Guess what? There's no demonstrable evidence they're actually doing that. There's no demonstrable evidence they're actually helping results, they're helping kids do better in school, which is what, when we took your money from you to say, look, we're going to go spend it on an after-school program, the way we justified it was, these programs are going to help these kids do better in school and get better jobs. And we can't prove that that's happening.
You know what you can prove, fuckface? Is that these kids got fed and they didn't go hungry. Now, I don't know how you can equate that to school. I don't see how you can equate that to them doing better or worse in school. It doesn't matter. We fed a kid who wasn't eating. We fed a kid whose parents may, for whatever reason, didn't provide food for that child. We fed them. I'm here to tell you right now that if you ask almost anybody, don't bring color into it, but if you ask almost anybody that if they're, say, I don't know, I can't imagine that would cost me as a taxpayer more than, say, what, $10, $15 a year to fund that after-school kids eating program? Let's even say, I'll say $30. Please, please feed hungry children. I don't give a shit if they fucking do better in school because I don't care. They are hungry. They are children. We should feed them. Government is about community. Government is about us raising our kids as a community. And if for some reason that inside that community a family cannot support for their children, it is our job as the rest of the family, the community, to help provide for that kid. It's called compassion. I would ask you to look up the definition because you clearly don't know what it means. This is the old Mickety-Mixter on climate change.
So part of your answer is focusing on efficiencies and focusing on doing what we do better. Regarding the question as to climate change, I think the president was fairly straightforward. We're not spending money on that anymore. We consider that to be a waste of your money to go out and do that. So that is a specific tie to his campaign.
We consider it a waste of your money to stop things like childhood asthma, to stop things like climate change, to stop these things. We consider it stupid. We're going back to the way it was when you couldn't see your hand in front of your face while walking down the street. Regulation, dumb. Climate change, dumb. We don't think it's important enough to go after. And even better, and here's the thing, climate change, it's not just about us. It's about the whole planet. But that's the problem with the Republicans is they can't think, they don't think outside of the borders unless it's to kill somebody. They don't think outside of the borders in a humanitarian way. And we'll get to that in a second. So when they do stuff like this, they just don't get it. It's about the whole world, man. And I hate to sound like a hippie, but it's true. The way we act as a country affects the climate more than almost probably any country on the planet. We should be the leader in this. We should want to be the leader in this. It's just going to make us, our kids' kids, and our kids' kids healthier in the long run. It just makes sense. I don't understand that money means so much to you. It means so much to you that you are willing to destroy the planet that you live on so you can get more money. Oh, and also fuck everybody else. Here's why.
We're absolutely reducing funding to the UN and to the various foreign aid programs, including those run by the UN and other agencies. That should come as a surprise to no one who watched the campaign. The president said specifically hundreds of times, you covered him, I'm going to spend less money on people overseas and more money on people back home. And that's exactly what we're doing with this budget. Yes, ma'am.
Real quick on this because you can't reason with idiots, right? So I'm going to try, and it's going to be hard, but I'm going to try. How about listening to it this way? And this is how you should attack when people say that we shouldn't give money to other countries, okay? Foreign aid is important, and the reason foreign aid is important is because if you want to stem the tide, so to speak, of illegal immigrants coming into this country, now you will probably never ever do that. But one of the ways to help do that is to offer foreign aid to other countries to make their country better or different or help them help their poorest people so that they don't flee that country and come to this country. See, if you stop doing that, Well, now, does it work all the time? No, of course not. It doesn't. It's not a perfect system. I'm not saying that it's not a perfect system. I would be naive and stupid to say that, and anybody who does is an idiot and don't believe them. It doesn't always work. We probably give money to more criminals than not with our foreign aid program. But it does work a little bit. It does work enough that you have to keep it. Being part of a global community means giving money to that community to help that community be better, to make their country better so that they want to stay in that country, so that we want to move to that country, maybe. Foreign aid is important for so many reasons. It's important for the health of the globe. It's important to the health, and I don't mean the health of the planet. I mean our health. If they have access to proper medicine and hospitals and stuff like that through foreign aid, then we can stem the tide of disease. But if they don't have that, you get things like the plague. So I can't believe an atheist has to say this, but I really think you should look up the word compassion. It's important. And it's not just compassion for the people that agree with you. It's compassion for everybody because you represent everybody now. That's your job. It's your job. Real quick on this, a great story. If you have a chance, go to change.org and sign it. It's a petition. It was launched by Daniel Jimenez, and it was a petition to strip the Congress of their awesome health care. And I think everybody should sign it. This is an endorsement, an official endorsement. It's already gotten almost 500,000 petitions, 500,000 signatures, but go sign it. Do that. Because they shouldn't have health care. If they want to take your health care away, they should have to pay for their own health care and be treated like everybody else. So you can go to change.org. You can probably search Daniel Jimenez, or you can just Dead State right now has a link to it. You can go to their site. It's an article posted yesterday on the 15th by Sky Palma. You can go check that out. There's a direct link right to it. You've probably been seeing it floating around Facebook. Sign it. Get on it. Get on it, get on it, get on it. Because in the end, if we can't have it, they can't have it. It's time for Donnie, the angry New Yorker, to teach tourists on how to navigate the city. So pay attention, or else I'm going to come over there and I'm going to sock you in the mouth. You're going to sit there and you're going to take notes because there's going to be a test. And if you fail the test, well, you don't want to fail the test. So now it's time for me, Donnie, to impart my knowledge of New York City upon you. Enjoy. Hi, and welcome to Donnie, the Angry New Yorker. I'm, of course, Matt Stevens, as always, and we'd like to say hello to Donnie. Donnie, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Matt, I'm doing pretty good over here, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's been a friggin' great day. You know, I love the snow. You know me, I love it when it's cold outside. It's freaking amazing. It's freaking amazing. Donnie, I guess the question I have for you is this. How do you feel about tomorrow? And you said to me today when you texted me that you had some things you'd like to say to the people about tomorrow. Well, Matt, I'm glad you let me have this time to come in and talk to the people in New York City and the tourists that might be coming in, okay? So, look, here's the thing. Tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, okay? There's a parade. There's tons of people. You know, everybody wants to wear green. It's a happy time. You're celebrating St. Patrick, patron saint of Ireland, and other things, I'm sure. I don't know. I don't friggin' care. I mean, what do I care? So, when they celebrate the friggin' Italian Day, I'm going to be right there with my Joe DiMaggio shirt on. You got me? I don't care about this stupid St. Patrick's Day, but I'm here to tell you this. New York right now sucks. It sucks big time. There's snow friggin' everywhere, man. You can't walk in a single friggin' place without snow being everywhere. So tomorrow, when you're out drinking, please, and I don't want to sound like a stupid beer commercial, because trust me, Donnie's been a couple times where he's gotten drunk and he's woken up the next day in a place he didn't know where he was. You know what I'm saying? It happens to all of us, you know? But tomorrow when you drink it, please, 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 don't drink so much that you throw up on my stoop. Because I swear to God, if I see you, I'm going to give you a smack right in the mouth. You hear what I'm saying? Responsible drinking is important. And you should do it. Just because it's freaking St. Patrick's Day is not the reason to go out and get so wasted that you throw up everywhere on the streets of New York City. Because right now, there's no other place to walk. I'm going to have to walk through your puke. You understand what I'm saying? If I have to walk through your puke, I'm going to be super pissed. Super pissed. Also, tomorrow, when you go to the bars or you go to the restaurants and you eat, you drink, and you freaking wait forever, make sure you don't forget you tip your friggin' waiters and your waitresses and your bartenders. You tip them good. Because if I find out you're not tipping them good, Donnie, I'm going to find you. I'm going to smack you in the mouth. You understand me? You understand me? Anything else, Donnie? No, that pretty much sums it up, Matt. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. You know, you're a nice guy. You're doing a good thing. Thank you so much for giving me the time. New York, I love you. Go Yankees, as always.
Yeah, man, yeah. It's the Batshit Crazy Pants thing of the day. Groovy, man, yeah. Groovy. Yeah, thing of the day.
Bow, wow. Skibbity-boo. Yeah. Hey, that's right. It is now time for the Batshit Crazy Pants thing of the day. And, of course, we have... Oh, God, it just keeps getting better and better and better, right? So this is an activist. He's an anti-LGBTQ activist. His name is Peter LaBarbera of... And, like... I wonder if there's like sort of a generator. Can somebody make a generator for me where I can just put in something that I'm for or against and it will come up with a really awesome like pack or group name for me? But like ridiculous in the way that these idiots are ridiculous, right? So Mr. Peter Hanna-Barbera over here, and I don't care if I get his name wrong. He's a dick, all right? Wait till you hear what he says. This guy doesn't deserve his name said right. He is one of the leaders or the leader of Americans for Truth about homosexuality. And he was speaking, this is last weekend, he was speaking at Wisconsin's Christian News Ministry Expo and Conference. Oh, man, that had to be a fucking knee slapper, you know what I'm saying? The Wisconsin Christian News Ministry Expo and Conference. Oh, the bars were like, really? Really? This is the group you got coming in? And the strip clubs were like, yeah! We're gonna make some money tonight at the strip club. So I'm just gonna let you listen to Mr. Barbera. It's LaBarbera. LaBarbera. That's what I'm saying it is. Here he is. Mr. Anti-LGBTQ. Peter LaBarbera.
Come out of the closet. This is one people don't think about, but think about it. Come out of the closet, out of the dark closet, lies and self-hatred, into the light of truth, right? You come out. And what is it really? You're coming into darkness. You're embracing spiritual darkness as a personal identity, as who you are.
Yes! Didn't you understand? That when you come out of the darkness, you're actually going into the darkness. I mean, because I've come out of a few closets in my day, not sexually, but actually been in closets and then come out of them. And unless the lights were off in the room I went into, it was always brighter outside of the closet than in. And I get his little metaphor or whatever. I get it, but it doesn't make it any less stupid. Okay? Because so you don't know what's happening right now. So in the video, it's a great video. He's standing next to a podium and he's got all these words on a screen there, and it's like these words have lost all this meaning, and coming out of the closet has lost meaning apparently because it was hijacked by the gay community. But if you come out of the closet, if you decide you want to be who you are, you coming into darkness.
And then you're selling it to everybody you know. You're doing Satan's work in the name of light.
Satan's work in the name of light. By the way, Satan doesn't exist, just so you know.
So we don't think about these things anymore because they've been pounded into us through this powerful sin movement. Marriage equality. It's not equal. It's not marriage. It's not marriage, and it's not equal. It's really radical egalitarianism, pretending things that are equal that aren't equal, which is cultural Marxism of a sort. Right?
I'm going to throw a bunch of big words at you to make me sound smart. And I'm going to end with Marxism, and you're all going to think your rights are being changed and tamped down by the homos. The gays are coming for you. They're coming for you. Because it's not equal. It's not equal. They're not white Christians who want to get married to each other. It's not equal. It's two guys. It's two girls. It might be a guy dressed as a girl marrying a girl. It might be a girl dressed as a guy marrying a girl marrying a guy. It's not equal. You know what's funny? And this is the best part about these people, is that they don't understand that this whole conversation, the conversation this guy is having, is so unconstitutional, it's not even funny. The 14th Amendment is equal protection. If you are an old pasty white dude, you get the same rights and privileges as old pasty white dudes. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So you're wrong, Peter. You're wrong, because it is equal under the eyes of the law, which is what we follow. See, you follow a weird book written by dudes hundreds of years ago about a guy who was born 5,000 years ago. Okay? You can follow that book, and that's fine. But when you're talking about a country and you're talking about laws, equal is equal. Man, woman, child, gay, lesbian, straight, doesn't matter. Equal. Muslim, gay, Christian, Catholic, Jewish, agnostic, atheist, all equal. No matter what. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Now, they may not be equal in your eyes, but I don't give a shit about your eyes.
It's radical egalitarianism. And egalitarianism is at the root of a lot of evil. If you look back, communism, Pol Pot, got to make everybody equal. Get the people who wore glasses, Pol Pot. People know that story in Cambodia?
Just going to say words.
He was against the intellectuals, Marxist, communist, Marxist-Leninist revolutionary. He had the people wear glasses. He marched them out to the fields, and they slaughtered.
All of those things are not the same thing. He just named like 8 different things, and they're all not the same thing.
That was done in the name of equality. You can't have some people who are intellectuals, bourgeoisie, and then everybody's got to be equal. So that word equal has been probably responsible for more murders in the world than anything else. And yet,
No. The thing you're there about, the Christian thing, that's caused more murders than anything else in the world. And the problem is you're saying that we all have to be equal in the way we look and act, and that's not the point. That's actually the opposite point that the LGBTQ community is making, is that we are all equal because we are all different. And that's what makes us, and having equality is great because we are in fact all different. See, you want to treat people differently. You want to treat people differently. They are all different who want to be treated the same. You want everybody to be the same and treated differently.
We're rallying around marriage equality. And you notice now that the left and sort of the elites in our culture, they don't even say marriage equality anymore. It's a code word now. They just say equality. I'm for equality. That's supposed to symbolize this issue. For some reason, homosexuality has become the issue for the left. The issue. It's satanic.
It's satanic. Satanic. Because homosexuality is the issue of the left. No. See, that's the thing you misunderstand. And I try to tell you because, I know you're not smart and it's hard for you to understand these things. It's not about homosexuality. It's about equality. And we're not talking about equality the way you want us to talk about it. See, you want equality for white Christians and nobody else. I want you, no matter what you look like, to be treated equally under the law. I don't care about anything else. And so what you want is something different than that. You are the un-American one. You are the one who is in trying to impose a dictatorial rule onto me. You are the one trying to make me like you. That's what you're doing. What you want is exactly what you're saying the LGBT community is trying to do to you, but they're not. What they want is to be gay and be treated equally under the law. It's pretty fucking simple. And that has been your Batshit Crazy Pants thing of the day. Thank you so much for listening. As always, you can always follow me on the Twitter at TheMatchShow365. And have a lovely day. We'll be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. I'm Matt Stevens, only on the Batshit Crazy Pants Super Show.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.